The writer-director for the upcoming Star Wars Rey film has been on record saying she's avoiding fan criticism and comments as she moves forward making her Star Wars movie. Yeah, what could possibly go wrong? Of all the major franchises like Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Superman, fans of those properties have a general perception about what the properties should be, what the characters are supposed to represent, and it should honor the history that made those properties famous to begin with. Over the last decade, we've watched as Hollywood creators and writers have entered into the fandom sphere to deconstruct, reinvent, and put their own interpretive spin on legacy properties. This has been met with the splintering of many fandoms.
Remember, there are more of us.
There are more of us.
There are more of us.
There's way more of us.
There's way more of us.
There's way more of us.
There's
The Last Jedi had a deconstruction of Luke Skywalker who was willing to kill his nephew because he had a bad dream. Star Wars fans still haven't recovered. Doctor Who just posted the lowest ratings the show has ever seen in its 60-year history. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny deconstructed Indiana Jones into a washed-up, walkout father and husband. It is one of the most expensive films of all time, and it did not break even on its investment. The Marvels, which, well, I didn't see The Marvels, but let's be honest, nobody did, is competing with Indiana Jones as the most expensive movie ever made, and also didn't see a return at the box office. Rings of Power had nearly a 60% viewership drop from the first episode, and no one is looking forward to season 2.
After all you have endured, it is only natural to feel conflicted.
Conflicted?
The list goes on and on. So of these franchises that I mentioned and the others, what's gone wrong?
Mom, I had a dream that I was replaced by a diverse woman. You check under the bed and make sure there's no Disney executives under there.
Fans and commentators are quick to judge actors and directors and the corporate entities above them. But I want to focus on the people putting pen to paper. Are the directors and corporate responsible in some way? Yes, of course. But the true sins are committed in the writer's room. I blame the writers. So there's three things going on here. First, you've got a business who needs to make money by selling a product to a particular target market. The target market themselves have their own perceptions and emotional connections to said product. Hollywood films and media are not being made by the business owners themselves. It's the writers and creatives who invented Jake Skywalker. Everyone is quick to jump on Kathleen Kennedy like she's some Dr. Doom mastermind, the boogeyman under your bed. And maybe she is. Maybe she is controlling the writer's room with an iron fist. Maybe the thing all the YouTubers say is going on is actually going on. I'm not saying KK is absolved from the poor decisions at Lucasfilm. Obviously, she's had a hand in some part of it. Obviously. I think instead, we put a spotlight on how awful the writing has been. Writing is not easy. Being creative is not easy. It's very hard to do. But there's a fundamental difference between writing for yourself and writing for your audience. If a writer is creating something new and original, their own concept, I would hope that they bring their own artistic integrity to that project because it's theirs. It's their vision into how they perceive the world. And we get some incredible art when artists are allowed to go out and make things. I believe instead, when it comes to these mega franchises like Star Wars and Rings of Power, many writers and creators are designing things in a particular way that rejects the past, spits upon the myths that came before them, with an intent to forge their own, in spite of whatever everyone else wants to see. I think these writers get off on killing your heroes, and I think they enjoy it. I think that these folks are filled with so much resentment and negativity for themselves and the world around them that they can't help but create things as black-hearted as they are. Help me find a writer that has something nice to say about the world and themselves. It's gonna be pretty hard to do that. Again, I'm not saying it's easy to be a writer. I know how difficult it can be. Even writing Dungeons & Dragons is difficult to do. But the thing you never forget, even in a Dungeons & Dragons game, is that you're writing it for other people. You're writing it for players to consume, to play in, to be a part of. Should you not write to entertain them? To allow them to forget the challenges and difficulties of their day-to-day life for even just a few minutes? I think a lot of writers come into these legacy properties looking to leave their mark, place their brand on them permanently. And I think for some of them, it's sadistic.
The Jedi have done nothing but add to the problems of the universe. And the most selfless act he can do is to do what he couldn't do in The Empire Strikes Back and ignore the calls of help from his friends and lock himself off.
So I think my message to Charmin Obaid-Chinoy.
I like to make men uncomfortable. I enjoy making men uncomfortable.
That this is not one of your documentaries that you're going to use to change minds, to educate and change perspectives. There are places for that, and you've gotten this far in your career by doing that, so you're good at it, which is great. Cheers to you. What I would very seriously ask is that you don't reinvent the wheel. You have the ability to give faith to a character that people have no faith in right now. If you come at this from the perspective of Rey the hero, not Rey the girl boss Jedi badass know-it-all super pilot that knows everything and can never lose, you can make an even larger difference and achieve your overall goal. Treat it like a fairy tale. The prince, the princess, the hero. All you need to know is that the character is the hero. And you take out all the other nonsense with it, you create a film that everybody can see themselves in that hero. But these are just the dreams of a wizard who perhaps still has too much hope. Because Charmin said in an interview, quote, "As a storyteller, I'm focused on drawing new moviegoers into the cinema and bringing a sense of nostalgia that will appeal to older fans of the series. New being the priority and sense being just enough to try and get those fanboys to shut up." Furthering the idea that she's coming into this with her own agenda, her own story, and her own flag to plant on the ashes of what used to be Star Wars. And with how things have been going, I don't even know what'll be left by the time this hits theaters.
The power of
Viewers, I want to thank you for watching and joining us here. I am the real-life fake wizard, and this has been The Ponder. If you liked what I had to say, please smash the like button. If you're new here, consider subscribing to the channel. And if you didn't like anything I had to say, thanks for hanging around this long. Until next time, my friends, create, innovate, inspire. May the thread of destiny be with you. And for the love of God, cancel Disney Plus.